and the link, the audio wasn't working. Sound check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, now it looks like it's good over on YouTube. Well, right, we got it working. So, what I was saying was that anything that is based on people's opinions and votes is going to be subjective. It's just based on who likes who, and if you happen to be a very likable person for whatever reason by the people who are making the decisions, then you're going to get a lot of wins. This is one of the reasons that Beyonce gets a lot of wins. And she has a presence, she has an aura, she has a certain type of energy that makes people like her. She hasn't really had any scandals. I don't think, if you think about Beyonce's background, she don't really have any scandals. The closest thing she had to a scandal was things involving her husband, like the whole, when she did the Lemonade album, it was basically about Jay-Z was unfaithful in the relationship. I think that's how people read in between the lines of that. Then you had the situation in the elevator where Beyonce's sister was trying to beat up Jay-Z. Those are the closest things that Beyonce's ever come to any type of scandal. Other than that, you haven't really heard Beyonce's name in any type of scandal. She has never done anything that would make people openly dislike her, like on a strong point. Some people may have disagreed with some of the things that she's done, but she's never done anything that would make people actually openly dislike her. So I understand why she has this aura around her. And again, I told you, I like some of her Beyonce's music, even though I'm not a big R&B listener. I would say 90% of my listening is rap music. 10% would be towards R&B, or maybe 9% R&B and 1% stuff that's not one of those. So let's get into these points, because I got plenty of points I need to share here today, and I'm sure we're going to go into some tangents on this subject. So the topic here today, again, is Beyonce is overrated. Number one thing, industry politics / favoritism. All right, this is just how it works. Industry politics, favoritism. The Grammy Awards, ladies and gentlemen, she has the record. Beyonce has the record for the most Grammy Awards ever won. She has won more Grammy Awards than Frank Sinatra, the Beatles, and the Rolling Stones all put together. Now, I am not a big listener of Frank Sinatra's music or the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, but is Beyonce better than all three of them put together? I would say no. Has Beyonce created more music that has stood the test of time than Frank Sinatra, the Beatles, and the Rolling Stones all put together? Now, that one I'm pretty much going to definitively say no, because Frank Sinatra, the Beatles, and the Rolling Stones all came out way before Beyonce. They all have put out music for way longer than Beyonce. They all probably have bigger fan bases than Beyonce, and their music still lasts to this day. Frank Sinatra's been dead since when? I don't even know when Frank Sinatra died. When did the Beatles put their last album out? I don't even know. But that music still lives on. I know people who are big fans of Frank Sinatra to this day. I know people who are big fans of the Beatles to this day. And I was meeting with some people from my college maybe about 10 years ago. And one of the guys in the meeting, he was like, he writes books about the Beatles. And the Beatles had been stopped making music. This is like 2015. We had the meeting. The Beatles had already stopped making music. And this guy was still writing books about them, books, plural, about the Beatles. They have a very long track record. Beyonce's track record ain't that long. And ain't like she's like no Future putting out a mixtape every week. Beyonce ain't got that much music. How does she have more Grammys than all three of these artists put together? Can somebody explain to me how that's possible? How is that? Is she that much better than her relative competition? Because we also got to consider, we got to weigh this with a grain of salt, that Frank Sinatra and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, their awards are based on who they were competing with at their times. Beyonce's awards are based on who she's competing with now. Is Beyonce that much better than her competition today than Frank, the Rolling Stones, and the Beatles were in their day? I would say probably not. Probably not. Seems like she has some strong industry politics favoritism working for her, which doesn't mean she's bad. Doesn't mean anything wrong with her. And listen, if any of us could have the politics and the favoritism of an industry working in our favor, then why not? Why not take advantage of it if you can take advantage of it? I would take advantage of it too. But Beyonce has played the political game of the industry expertly, and she plays it in such a way that you don't even notice she's playing it. And that I have to respect. I have to respect that she does play the political game in a way that you have to look at her hustle and say, I'm going to put this down. I don't know. I think it might be affecting the algorithm over on TikTok that I have this up there. Let's see if it makes any difference. But anyway, and she's played the industry politics games very well. And whoever is working with her, her team, her management, et cetera, Jay-Z, whoever it is working on her behalf, I think they have allowed her to play the industry game very well, which is why she's won so many awards. Because we know that awards are not about you actually being better than the other person. Any of you who ever thought that was the case, that is not the case. Now, you do need to be above a certain bar of performance to be eligible for an award. But then once you get all the people who are above that bar, how do you decide who's best? For the Grammy Awards, for example, I don't really pay a lot of attention to music award shows again, but I do remember It was 5 years ago. It's 2025. So it was either five. Yeah, it was either 5 or 6 years ago. There was a Grammy Award for the best rap album of the year, and the contenders for the award. It was Mac Miller, who I believe had passed away that year. It was Nipsey Hussle, who had also passed away the previous year, and I like Nipsey Hussle's album. There was Travis Scott for his what's that album called? Astro World, whatever, Astro something. I like that Travis Scott album. There was Pusha T, who put out the album that he had did with Kanye, and I like that album a lot. And I thought that one should have won. And the fifth contender for the award was Cardi B. And I listened to Cardi B's album, her first album that she put out, and the album I was expecting it to be completely trash, but it was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I'm giving credit to Cardi B there. So if Cardi B or someone on her team sees this, her first album was actually not as bad as I thought it would be. However, when Cardi B won that award for Rap Album of the Year, I said, okay, we know what this is. We know. I mean, this was not new. Mind you, this was either 2020 or 2019, whatever year that was. The Cardi B won Rap Album of the Year over Mac Miller, Travis Scott, Pusha T, and Nipsey Hussle. I said, no way was that the Rap Album of the Year. I listened to all 5 of those albums. Cardi B's album was better than I thought it was going to be, but no way did it equal out to the other 4 competitors' albums. That was ridiculous. And this is the reason why I don't work in the entertainment industry, period, because it is highly subjective. It's about people's feelings and their opinions. And if you piss off the wrong person, you're not going to win anything. And if you appease the right people, then you win everything. It has nothing to do with your actual ability or your actual skill. I'm not a fan of those type of spaces. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. That's why I come from the sports world, where you got to actually earn it on the scoreboard. And Beyonce, obviously she loves this space. She's a pretty good performer. I think we can agree to that. And this is the political industry. This is the industry political game. And what was funny is after Cardi B won that Rap Album of the Year award 5 years ago, whatever year that was that she won that award, of course, there were a lot of fans talking shit. Like, how the hell is Cardi B win the Rap Album of the Year? Again, her album wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. And she won Album of the Year over people who had actually made good albums. I remember Cardi B came and put a video out basically defending herself, because this is what women do. And she was defending herself because she was getting a lot of backlash, not necessarily because she did anything wrong in winning the award. She probably did. She played the industry game to get the award, but because she was getting trashed on the internet. And Cardi B, the way she got known in the first place was by talking shit on the internet, talking shit on Instagram. That's how she got known. So she put this video out and she was explaining, I worked really hard on my album. I was spending all nights in the studio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all the things that she was saying to defend herself, none of which had anything to do with why her album was better than Mac Miller, Pusha T, Nipsey Hussle, or Travis Scott. Nothing she said explained why her album was better than theirs, because it wasn't. But again, art is highly subjective. Again, this is the reason why I don't like working in the art space, because everything is subjective. Everything's based on people's opinions. And again, I come from the sports world. The sports world, the arbiter is the scoreboard. There's no opinion on the scoreboard. Either you have one team got 20 points, another team had 15 points. The team with 20 points won the game, period. And there's no subjectivity that comes into that. So in the entertainment world, you have to deal with this. And what I also found interesting was that a lot of times you'll see artists, especially hip hop artists, that when they don't win an award, they'll come out and complain and talk shit because they didn't win the award. They'll talk shit about the people who didn't win. They'll talk shit about the committee who didn't vote for them. They'll talk shit about everything when they don't win an award. And I noticed, well, first of all, Mac Miller and Nipsey Hussle were dead at that time. But Travis Scott, Pusha T, neither one of them said a word after they didn't win that award. And they knew they couldn't really say anything, because how are they going to look saying something against Cardi B, who was a super popular female rapper at the time. And she had a lot of public sentiment on her side. Why, I don't know, but she did. And if Pusha T or Travis Scott had come out and said anything, they just would have got trashed for coming at a woman. That's it. That's all. They would have got trashed for coming at a woman. And then men who did say something, like everyday fans, they got trashed for coming at a woman because they didn't support Cardi B winning the Rap Album of the Year. It's bullshit. And again, this is the reason why I don't pay attention to these shows. The reason why I can never work in any of these spaces, because it's all subjective and all based on who likes who. And I don't like being in industries. It's all about who likes who, somewhat, but it can't all be about that. And the entertainment world, these award shows, is all about who likes you. So when we talk about the Emmy Awards, the Oscar Awards, what's the other ones? The Golden Globes, are those the same thing? I don't even know. The Grammy Awards, BET Awards, the MTV Awards, all of these shows, any of you who doesn't know anything about this industry, all these shows are about who likes you. Who are you connected to? Who do you have the right networks with? If you got the right networks, you'll win trophies. If you don't have the right networks, you could be the best performer out there subjectively by the opinions of like the fans, but you're never going to win a trophy just because nobody likes you. That's just what it is. So this is one of the reasons why Beyonce, and when I say that she's overrated, that doesn't mean I don't think she's good. I think Beyonce is good at doing what Beyonce does. But the way that she has been touted, if you were to look at her resume, she's overrated because she's getting things because of these things that have nothing to do with her objective as I can be, with her objective ability to perform. This is the industry politics favoritism working in her favor, which again doesn't make her wrong. It's just one of the reasons why she's overrated. Moving on to the second point. Beyonce did some genre hopping that helped her win an award. Now, is Beyonce a country music singer? Technically, because she made a country music album, she is. But is she a country music singer? No, Beyonce is an R&B artist. We know that she's an R&B / pop. That's what she is. And some people say that Beyonce jumped into the country music category just so she could do what she did, make that album, and win an award for it. Because, listen, as connected as Beyonce is in the industry, Beyonce has been Beyonce for 25 years. So if you can last in an industry and still be popular, 25 years after you came out, which is what Beyonce is, you are well connected in that industry. Would everybody agree with that? She's well connected in the music industry to have lasted as long as she has, because there have been other female artists who can sing and dance just like Beyonce, and they came and they went. They had 5-year career, 10-year career. How many of them have lasted 25 years? What other artists came out in the year 2000 and still out now in R&B? Can anybody name somebody? Actually, as a matter of fact, think back to the year 2000. Those of you who are old enough, name R&B artists that you knew from that era, from like the first 5 years of this century. Name all the R&B artists you can think of who were out then, who are still out now. Can you name them? Just name them. Name people you know who were out then and still out now. I'm going to try to think of some that I know. R. Kelly was out. We know he's disappeared. Well, he ain't disappeared. We know where he's at. Alicia Keys was out. She's the one who's still out. But is Alicia Keys nearly as popular now as she was then? No. Alicia Keys not as popular. I mean, she's still around, but she ain't at Beyonce's level. Usher is a good one. R&B artist, not Nelly. Nelly's not R&B. He's a rapper. And Nelly, when's the last time Nelly put an album out? He doesn't even count. I'm talking R&B artists who are still out or who were out in the year 2000. Between 2000 and 2005, who was out? Just name people you can remember. Now, I remember R. Kelly. I remember Alicia Keys. Usher was a good one. Whoever said Usher. I can't remember anybody else. Mary J. Blige is a good one. Super Steve over there on YouTube. Mary J. Blige. She is not nearly as big now as she was then. Mary J. Blige was out in the 90s. She actually has had a long career. She still has a career, but she ain't Beyonce. Beyonce is still like near the top. She's looked at as near the top right now. Who else? Usher is the closest I can think of. I think Usher is the closest I can think of who has sustained throughout the last 25 years. So the point is, the way that happens is you got to be connected to the right people. It's not about you just actually have to be good, because there are a bunch of other singers who are probably good quality, but their careers had little 5-year windows and it disappeared simply because they weren't connected to the right person or they didn't do the right thing. I'm not talking about on the microphone or on the stage. They didn't do the right thing. Again, think P. Diddy, think Puff Daddy, think all that stuff that happens in the industries. And this applies in the entertainment industry as well as entertainment, music, as well as TV, movies, etc. You might have to do the right thing for the right person to stay in the game. And if you don't do the right thing for the right person, you could be extremely talented. They will kick you to the curb in these industries. And you've heard, all of you use the internet. You've heard plenty of people who've been on the inside tell these stories. I'm not saying that Beyonce sold her soul in any way, shape, or form. And I'm also saying that we can't guarantee that she hasn't, depending on what you call selling your soul. And again, she's well connected to some people who actually have power and have pull. Does this play a role in her winning a country music award for the best country music album? Yes, it does. Her jumping into that category, I believe it's possible to say that she jumped into it because she knew she could win an award, that the album was okay enough, she could win the award, and she could just add that to her resume. Not very different from LeBron James. The only reason LeBron James is still playing in the NBA today is not because he's going to win the championship, probably not, and catch or pass Michael Jordan, probably not, because he has LeBron got 4 championships, Michael Jordan has 6. He's probably not going to catch Michael Jordan. He's probably not going to win another championship. Why does he keep playing? So he can keep adding to his resume. Because if he can't beat Michael Jordan on championships, which he probably won't, he can try to beat Michael Jordan on just the list of accomplishments. And the same thing that Beyonce's doing. I don't know who she's competing against, but maybe she's competing against nobody. Maybe she's like, let me just keep stacking stuff so I can just keep stacking. Why not? LeBron James, what did he stack this year? He stacked I think last year he passed the points total, and he's got all these, any kind of longevity award. LeBron's going to have all of them by the time his career's over. Now he got his son into the NBA. Him and his son played on the team at the same time, even though his son's a fucking bum. It shouldn't be in the NBA at all. All right, all of these things are just a way of stacking your accomplishments. And I can't knock his ambition. Can't knock Beyonce's ambition. I believe they're both very ambitious people. I'm not knocking them for it. I'm just saying that this genre hopping thing was probably coordinated, that she knew she was going to win if she put a country music album out. I say we can't say that that's not possible. We can't rule that out as a possibility. So many people who win Grammy Awards usually have contributed consistently to a specific genre for some time and put some time in, maybe before they even win the award. We know this, that if you go back to like the TV awards, the TV screen awards, movie and TV show awards, that sometimes someone will not get the award year after year after year. Then when they finally win, everybody's all excited for them. And it's like this sentimental thing. Like, this person finally won. They've been grinding and putting their work in for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and they never won that one award. Then they finally win it. And it's like this feel-good story, right? Because they finally won the award. Usually that's someone who's been putting work in over time to finally win that. Beyonce ain't put no work in the country music space. She ain't paid no dues. She ain't done anything. And I'm not necessarily saying that you can't come in and win from the beginning. If you're good, you're good. But the people who usually win are people who have been contributing for a while and they have the connection. Beyonce ain't contributed at all, but she has the connection. And she was able to kind of jump to the front of the line, so to speak, and win that award. That's why I say this is questionable. I don't know the insider of what happens with the choice of awards for the Grammys, but is it questionable? Yes, it is. Of course it's questionable. Again, people contribute for a while before they win. This is the same thing with Cardi B. She came out with one album. I think Cardi B only has one album, right? Did she put out a second album? Cardi B put out one album. As I said twice already, it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. There were actually some quality songs on there. And she wins Rap Album of the Year over people who had multiple albums, and all of their albums, subjectively, my personal opinion, all of their albums were better than Cardi B's album that year. And she wins Album of the Year. And again, nobody could say anything because she's a female, and we got this feminist world that we're living in. And if it wasn't a feminist world, she wouldn't have won the award in the first place. But because of the feminism that's going on, none of the males could say anything about her winning that award that she absolutely should not have won. And then she had to make a video on Instagram the next day defending herself because she knew she shouldn't have won. She knew she shouldn't have won. That's why she had to go make a video defending herself. Moving on. So second one was the genre hopping by Beyonce. Third, is Beyonce an authentic country music artist? Now, technically she is, because she made a country music album. Now, is she a country music artist? The answer is no, she's not. Beyonce is the R&B/pop artist. There's nothing wrong with that. We like R&B, right? We like pop music. She ain't no country music artist. She just jumped into it. Again, I'm not a country music fan. And I don't have to be a country music fan to say Beyonce is not a country music artist, because she ain't a country music artist. It's like the same way I can say Beyonce ain't a rapper. She ain't no rapper. Now, she might rap on a song, but is she a rapper? No, she's not a rapper. Most serious fans of genres do not consider her of that genre. Let's say country music. Anybody here a country music listener? Do you consider Beyonce a country music artist? Those of you who actually listen to country music. I'm not talking like you started listening because Beyonce made an album. I'm saying you actually listen to country music. You're driving in your car with country music playing. All right, I'm not that. All right, any of you listen to country music, do you consider Beyonce to be a country music artist? Yes or no, and why? I would say objectively, again, just a person who can understand things, Beyonce ain't no country music artist because she doesn't make country music. She makes R&B and pop music. She's married to damn Jay-Z. Jay-Z ain't listening to no country music. Jay-Z ain't no country music rapper. She is not a country music artist. All right, so a bunch of you are answering and saying no, she's not a country music artist at all. And she is not authentic. She's not authentic to the game. She's jumping in, dabbling in the game. And a lot of people didn't like the fact she was even dabbling in the game, because we know that we're going to get to that in a second. A bunch of black people, when she came out with this country music album, a bunch of black people tried to say, well, Beyonce's from Texas, and Texas is a place where country music is popular. And then they went on hey, country music was actually created by black people. And you get this whole conversation. If you ask the right black person, black people basically created everything. And in some ways, you could be saying that in a tongue-in-cheek way. And there's some black people who actually will argue that. And that's not even the point here today. But people are saying black people created country music, so Beyonce has a right to do country music. It's not about black people creating country music to give her a right to do it. If I wanted to make country music right now, I could if I wanted to. because it's music. Music is music. Same way a white person can come rap. All right. The same way a Canadian person could go be a break dancer. All right. Whatever the situation. You don't have to be a certain color or from a certain place in order to quote unquote qualify to make a certain type of music. All right. That's not the argument. Is she authentic to it means, are you in the game? Are you actively outside? Are you actively contributing to this space? And have you put any time or effort into this? And the answer when it comes to Beyonce and country music, the answer is no. She made one album doing this. And because of her popularity and because of the wave of feminism we're living in, and by the way, I'm going to answer all questions and comments when I'm done. Because of the wave of feminism that we're living in, people went and supported Beyonce winning this album. And when I say people, we're talking about the Grammy Awards Committee. It's not voted on. It's not like some public vote. This is the Grammy Awards Committee. And guess who is on the Grammy Awards Committee? A bunch of people who work in the music industry. How much pull does Beyonce have in the music industry? As much as she wants. Combined between her and her husband, she got all the pull. I don't think there's a family in music that has more pull in the music industry than Beyonce combined with Jay-Z. Now, there may be somebody who's equal to her, but there's nobody who has more than her. So does that contribute to her ability to win an award at an award show? The answer is hell yes. I just told you, this industry is extremely subjective. The art entertainment industry is an extremely subjective industry. It's all about knowing the right people on top of the fact that you need to be somewhat level of skilled, somewhat level of good, but you can be really, really good. If you don't know the right people, you ain't getting in. That's the way it works. Any of you ever worked in the entertainment industry, please co-sign this in the comments. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, this is the reason why I like entrepreneurship in sports, where it's much more objective. But anyway, as I said, I'm not a country music fan. And Beyonce's work is more pop and hip hop influence. Some people argued, as I already said, black people started country music, whatever. Now, is Beyonce a country music artist? No. All right, she jumped on it, and it seemed as if Beyonce seems to do this. She doesn't say it explicitly. She's not that type of person. But Beyonce seems to make her statements through her art. That's what she does. When she has something that she wants to express to the world, she doesn't do an interview and say it or write a book or put it on social media. She doesn't do that. What she does is she communicates her message through her art. And her art is her music. So when she wanted to let the whole world know my husband cheated on me, she made an album about it. She didn't do an interview. She didn't say Jay-Z cheated on me. She could have did that. She didn't do that. She didn't get on social media and say, I'm so heartbroken, my man stepped out on me. She didn't do that. What she do? She went and made a whole album dissing her husband. That's what she did. All right, Beyonce lets her thoughts out through music. So it looks like, knowing this, Beyonce wanted to let the world know, hey, I can do country music. I'm so good at this. And I come from this. This is where I come from culturally, because she's from Texas, that, hey, country music is part of the culture where I come from. I'm going to show you that I can actually jump in this because I'm just that good. I can jump in this and I can make a country music album and I can win an award for it. And if y'all saw the clips from the Grammy Awards, I didn't watch the Grammy Awards, but you saw the clip when they announced that Beyonce had won the award and she had that fake surprised face that she had won the award. You saw where she was sitting, right? You saw she was sitting at a round table, like really close to the stage, right? You know, when you are probably going to win an award, they give you a seat close to the stage. So you notice that you never see somebody win a Grammy Award and they're all the way in the back and they got to come all the way from the back to come get their award. Y'all notice that? It's never a surprise who's going to win. All right. They always got them sitting right near the front. When Kendrick Lamar won his award, I saw the clip of Kendrick Lamar when he won the award for They Not Like Us. He won like 5 awards for that song. And he was sitting right near the front because when they called him, he stood up, he shook a couple people's hands, and he walked like 10 steps. He was already at the stage because he was already sitting in the front because he knew he was going to win. Same thing with Beyonce. She was sitting at a round table with Jay-Z, and she didn't have to go too far to get to the stage. She was right there. She knew she was going to win. Now, that fake surprise that she put on, again, nobody's going to call her out for that because nobody has a real reason to really, really not like Beyonce. You may disagree with some of the statements that she's made through her music, but she doesn't do it so explicitly that you could really get mad at her. All right, who could be mad at Beyonce for what? What are you mad at her for? She doesn't give you any targets. Think of someone like Donald Trump. He gives you plenty of targets. Someone like Beyonce gives you no targets. So even though I'm calling her overrated, I told you, I still like her music. So she jumped into this country music space and it seemed like it was more about making a statement like, hey, I can do this. All right, so now she won the award and now she can hold that up and say, hey, I dominated pop. I married to a guy who has dominated rap and I went and did country and I got the award to prove it. All right, so she got everything. Next, Beyonce's career overall is more about, and we're talking about Beyonce's overrated, by the way. That's the topic here today. Seems Beyonce's career is more about her cultural status and popularity more than it is necessarily about her substance as an artist. I don't mean as a person, her substance as an artist. Beyonce is a very popular artist and also a very popular person. And she's never had any scandal on her name, as I already said. And anybody who criticizes her, right, it gets harsh backlash because people treat everything Beyonce does as if it's groundbreaking. Y'all notice that? Everything Beyonce does, people talk about it like it's some groundbreaking thing. Beyonce got her daughter on the show with her, or her daughter's on the stage dancing with her. Oh my God, it's groundbreaking. Beyonce did acting. Remember Beyonce was acting? She's not a very good actor. But when she was acting, oh my God, Beyonce's acting. Beyonce, what else did Beyonce do that was groundbreaking? She makes her statements through her art. Oh my God, it's groundbreaking. Everything she does gets treated as groundbreaking because she has this halo, this aura of untouchableness around her. And again, I'm not saying this as necessarily a negative thing. She's been expert at crafting her brand, not saying too much outside of on the mic and on the stage. And therefore, anytime you want to hear Beyonce, you got to kind of go buy her album or listen to her music or watch her show. That's how she does her communication. It was actually a brilliant strategy if you can pull it off. And Beyonce has pulled that off for going on 30 years. She's done a great job of this. So her cultural status and popularity is working for her more than it is the substance of the quality of her music or the quality of her, let's say quality of her music. I believe her status is bigger than her music at this point. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, but does this contribute to her being overrated? Yes, it does. Next, vocals versus performance. Somebody on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me how good of a singer is Beyonce. This is not my area of expertise. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a singer is Beyonce? And if there's someone who is a better vocalist than her who's out right now, tell me their name. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a vocalist is Beyonce? I'm just talking just her vocals, period. How good is she? 1 to 10. And I'm seriously asking because I don't know how to rate singers. I hear Beyonce sing. She sounds fine to me, but I have nothing to compare her to. What is Beyonce singing wise on a scale of 1 to 10? And if there is an active vocalist out there, preferably female, who's a better singer than Beyonce, tell me who they are. Who's better than Beyonce? Or if there's someone who's a 10, who's a 10? Who's a female vocalist who's a 10 that we would know who they are? We would know their names. So don't mention some obscure person who I wouldn't know, but who's a 10 vocally? So that's what I'm trying to figure out here is, and I'm trying to scroll comments here. So my question is about Beyonce. Ryan says a 7. Queen Nick says an 8. Bijou French says 2. Nikki says 7.5. Mariah Carey's a 10. Okay, I've heard Mariah Carey sing. Mariah Carey's a 10. That makes sense to me. I can understand that. Super Steve says she's a 5. NPR says 6.5. Matt Villain says a 2. Rihanna's a 10. Okay, Whitney Houston is a 10. Whitney Houston's dead. I'm talking about somebody who's alive. Okay, I heard Whitney Houston. Somebody said Rihanna ain't no 10. All right, so who's better than her? Mariah Carey's a 10. So a couple people said Mariah Carey's a 10. Okay, so Mariah Carey, I understand. Who else is a 10? Adele is a 10. I've heard people say Adele as well. And then a bunch of people are blowing back on Rihanna. Okay, so I don't think Rihanna's a 10. Rihanna's getting a lot of blowback. I'm looking at 3 different comment sections right now. So Rihanna has gotten strong blowback for somebody calling her a 10. So Lady Gaga, somebody said Lady Gaga's a 10. Okay, so Beyonce is generally looked at as around, for the most part, I'm seeing anywhere between 6 and 8. So let's just say a 7. Jennifer Hudson, I've heard of her. Katrina Velarde, I've never heard of. Bill, I don't know who that is. Mind you, I don't listen to R&B. I don't really listen to a lot of singers. Taylor Swift is a better vocalist. Is Taylor Swift a better vocalist than Beyonce? Yes or no? Taylor or Beyonce? Who's the better singer? Kelly Rowland's a better singer than Beyonce. I've heard Kelly Rowland. Someone said Rihanna is incredible. That's not the question. Is she a 10? Carrie Underwood. I've heard her. Okay. Who's a better vocalist, Taylor Swift or Beyonce? So just put Taylor or Beyonce in the comments. Who's the better singer? Just singing. I'm not talking about who you like. I'm not talking about who has more fans. Who's the better vocalist, Taylor Swift or Beyonce? Just put Taylor or put Beyonce. Someone said Fantasia. What happened to Fantasia? I ain't heard from her in a while. Adele. Okay, Adele's getting a lot of votes. So I'm seeing Beyonce. I see some Taylors. Someone said, "Do I have a point here?" I'm this whole conversation is about Beyonce being overrated. This is the point. You're in the middle of it. So I get some Swifts. I'm seeing Beyonce's. There's a lot of back and forth here about who is the better vocalist between Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Some of you saying they're pretty equal. I didn't hear many people say Taylor was a 10 vocalist. So this is a good learnable point here then with both of them. Is that Taylor Swift and Beyonce are not in the position that they're in. I think you can say they're the top two probably most popular in as far as white girls and black girls. I think Beyonce is the most popular black female vocalist right now. I think. Is anybody more popular than Beyonce? I don't think so. Is there any white singer more popular than Taylor Swift? I can pretty much say no. Taylor Swift's like maybe the biggest artist out right now, even bigger than Beyonce. And neither one of them, by most of you all's assessment, is a level 10 in singing. This should tell you something. That most of life, ladies and gentlemen, is subjective. Most of life is subjective. And the reason that Taylor and Beyonce are so popular is obviously not because they're the best singers that you could possibly find. All of you believe Adele's a better singer than Taylor Swift or Beyonce. And many of you said, I had a couple people say Whitney Houston was a better singer than Taylor Swift or Beyonce. Whitney Houston was never as big as Taylor Swift nor Beyonce. And it's more about the engagement you can create with your audience. It's about your aura. It's about your status. It's about your cultural influence, your presence. Now, you got to have some ability to perform. Taylor Swift did a damn world tour. And she was doing shows. I remember she was here in Miami. And I just saw it was like a graphic of her shows. She did like 5 straight nights in Miami and sold out all 5. It was either 3 or 5. Whatever it was crazy. Most artists come to town one night and they perform, then they leave. She did like 3 straight nights of a stadium and sold out all 3, not because she's the best singer in the world. I've seen Taylor Swift dancing. She ain't the best dancer in the world, and she still has the most fans. So it's often a mix of multiple things that have nothing to do with the main thing that you allegedly, quote unquote, do. The main thing Taylor Swift does, if I met Taylor Swift and I said, "What do you do?" She would probably say, or let's just say that she said, I don't know what she would say, but let's say that she said, "I'm a singer." She ain't the best singer that I could possibly find. I could find a better singer singing at the restaurant Cabaret down the street for $100 a night. Might be a better singer than Taylor Swift, but she ain't more popular than Taylor Swift. Same thing with Beyonce. She ain't the best singer, but she's the most popular and she got all these Grammy Awards. And the point here, the reason I even brought this up was vocals versus performance. That some people say that Beyonce is a great performer. I've seen Beyonce perform. I remember when Jay-Z and Beyonce did a tour together. This is about 10 years ago, maybe 2014, 2015. Jay-Z and Beyonce did a tour. I forget what it was called. And they came to Miami. They were at the football stadium. And I went to that show. And any of you ever seen Jay-Z perform? He's boring. Jay-Z is a boring stage performer. He's not really a stage guy. Jay-Z is a much better studio guy. Jay-Z he makes great music in the studio. You put it out, you listen to it, you like it. But going to a show to actually see Jay-Z perform he's not a very good stage. He doesn't have great stage presence. But half the show was Beyonce. And I remember I went to the show not really trying to hear Beyonce. A lot of the songs that she performed, I didn't even know the music because her album, she put out that album that was called Beyonce. Remember she dropped that album like out of nowhere at that time? I think that was in late 2013. And then in 2014, they did the tour that summer. So at that point, I hadn't even really listened to Beyonce's album. So she was performing songs like, what's that song? Flawless and all those songs off that album. I didn't even know the songs. I was just watching the performance. I didn't even go to the show to see Beyonce. I went to the show to see Jay-Z. As I said, all right, let me go see Jay-Z one time. I don't really like going to concerts at all, but let me say go see Jay-Z. So I went there to go see Jay-Z, and I accepted that I would have to watch Beyonce as a trade-off of going to see Jay-Z. But Beyonce's show was a lot better than Jay-Z's. She's just she's a excellent performer. Beyonce is a level 10 performer. She may be a level 7 singer, but she's a level 10 performer. She can dance. Her choreography is great. Her stage presence is great. All of that is amazing. Beyonce is amazing at that. Now, what is it that makes Taylor Swift so amazing? I don't get it because I've seen clips of Taylor Swift's show and she ain't no Beyonce. So what is it about Taylor Swift that makes her so popular? I don't know. That's not the topic here today. But anyway, Beyonce is amazing on stage. You go watch a Beyonce show, you don't even have to know the songs. You're like, I don't know any of this music, but damn, she's a good performer. That's the thing I came home thinking after I went to that concert. Jay-Z, I know all the songs. He's boring on stage, but I got to see Jay-Z. But Beyonce, damn, she's great. That's what I came home thinking. And I didn't even know a lot of the music that she was performing. So a lot of people say that a lot of what makes Beyonce popular is her visuals, her production, her choreography, more than her ability to sing, while in country music, anybody who listens to country music, please confirm or deny this. They say in country music, when people go to see a performance, they want to hear you just raw, straight up sing. They just want to hear you sing. They want to hear your voice, not sing, but they want to hear you vocalize your song. They don't want the backing tracks. They don't want all the dancing and performing, because what that does is it distracts you from the actual sound of the voice. See, when Beyonce does all the dancing and the choreography, and she got all the dancers on stage and her daughter's on the stage and they're doing all this stuff, you're looking at it like this is visually dazzling, and it distracts you from listening to how she actually sounds. And they say, again, any country music listeners, please confirm or deny this, that in the country music space, when you go see a performance, you want to hear the artist sing or say or whatever, however you call it, vocalize their song. But it ain't a whole bunch of dancing around. It ain't all this choreography. See, that's pop. That's Beyonce. She has this whole thing with her stage show, similar to Kanye West, but an R&B side, that it's so much about all the, again, verbally shocking and awing you with what she does. And she's very good at it. Again, I'm not knocking it. She's amazing at it. But in the country music space, they say that's not what they want. So some people say no. All right. So Ryan says no. And for whatever reason, my comments are not scrolling over here. Someone said Taylor is white. Yeah, I said that. Ryan said now there's overrated Jay-Z. Well, overrated at what? Jay-Z he ain't really doing anything now. He kind of quieted down. Charlotte said Whitney's range was incredible. I agree. She wasn't as popular. That's my point. She wasn't as popular as Jay-Z is. She was very popular. It's hard to really compare because that was the 90s. So it was a completely different era. So that's what some people have said about country music. I don't know, because I'm not a country music listener. I've never been to a country music show. As far as raw vocal performance, Beyonce would never, I don't believe Beyonce would put herself in a position where she just had to do raw vocal performance, because it would be obvious that, well, first of all, it'd be obvious that she's not a 10. And secondly, she's moving away from her main skill. Her main strength is her stage presence and stage performance, not just her ability to stand there and sing. Notice you very rarely see Beyonce just standing there singing. She doesn't do that. She does a whole performance, because that's what she does best. It'd be like Beyonce standing on stage and just singing would be like Shaquille O'Neal shooting 3-pointers. All right, why are you doing that? Your strength is if you get around the basket and just dunk on people. So why would he shoot threes? He shouldn't do it. He should be doing what he does best. The same thing with Beyonce. That's what she does best. Moving on. We're talking here why Beyonce is overrated. Even though I'm a fan of Beyonce, it doesn't mean she can't be overrated. Number 6, massive media coverage and praise. All right, and a person with a shiny reputation like Beyonce, she has a perfect reputation. They tend to win awards more than people who don't have a shiny reputation. Because if you have a reputation that has anything that people could use against you to say as negative, they will use it against you. People will come up with any reason to go against you just because that one thing they can use, that one thing they can say, that one thing they can hold on you. You ain't really got nothing. When you come to Beyonce, what can you hold against her? Can anybody name something? If you had to come up with a reason to hate Beyonce, what is it? What's your reason? I don't think anybody can come up with one. I'm not trying to hate Beyonce, but if I was a lawyer and somebody hired me and said, Dre, I want you to come up with 10 good reasons for me to hate Beyonce, and I pay you $1 million, I would struggle to figure out 10 reasons to hate Beyonce. She doesn't offer anything for you to get mad at. Everybody else offers something to get mad at. Even Jay-Z, you get mad at the fact that he cheated on Beyonce. But what did Beyonce do that makes you mad? I don't think I can come up with anything. Is there anything y'all can come up with? Travell said Beyonce can definitely flat foot sing without all the production. I didn't say she can't. I'm saying that's not her best skill. If Beyonce was doing what she does best, she's going to have a whole production, because she's great with the choreography, the dancing, the moves, and all that. She's amazing when she adds all the other stuff in with it, the visual, not just the vocal. That's what I'm saying. So if Adele and Beyonce stood on the stage together and just had a sing off, Beyonce would lose. But Beyonce would not put herself in that position, because she knows that's not what she does best. And Beyonce would say, okay, you beat me in singing, now let's dance. I think Beyonce could beat Adele in dancing worse than Adele could beat Beyonce in singing. All right, so she should do what she does best. Again, it's like Shaquille O'Neal is I'm getting the 3-point competition. So Jumpin' Junie says she's associated with Jay-Z and Diddler. No, I can't. That's not strong enough. I can't come up with. There's nothing. There's nothing you can come up with to give you a reason to be mad about Beyonce. NPR said, how's Jay-Z overrated? I didn't say Jay-Z was overrated. I said Jay-Z is, no, somebody in the TikTok comment said Jay-Z was overrated. Whoever that was, I believe it was Ryan. If you said Jay-Z is overrated, what's your reason? So anyway, continuing on my point here. The award shows, folks, are a popularity contest, in case any of you didn't know. Anything that is an award, any kind of award. I'm not talking an award like the NBA Finals, the NBA champion is a trophy. That's competition. Any kind of award that is chosen by a committee or a vote is a popularity contest. The presidential election in the United States of America is a popularity contest. The Grammy Awards are a popularity contest. The NBA or NFL MVP award are popularity contests. Most things in life are popularity contests. In case any of you didn't know, most things in life are about who do you know, who knows you, and do they have a favorable opinion of you? That controls most of your wins, your opportunities, what room you can get into, what rooms you get kicked out of. Who do you know, who knows you, and do they like you? That's it. Do I know you? Do I like you? Are you any good? 1, 2, 3, in that order of priority. Let me give you that again. Number 1, do I know you? Relationship. Number 2, do I like you? Do I think positively? Or number 3, are you any good? Your actual skill. Your actual skill is third in line when it comes to you moving forward and getting opportunities in life. So y'all want to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want to talk about DEI. It starts with, do I know you? Secondly, do I like you? Third, are you good? This is actually an argument in favor of DEI, or it could be against it, depending on the way you frame it. Because if I'm a white guy running a company, well, the first thing is, do I know you? Well, if I got a white candidate and I got a black candidate, well, which one am I going to relate to more? Probably the white guy. All right, so I'm probably going to pick the white guy. Do I like you? Again, that doesn't mean I'm necessarily racist, but if I'm picking between a white guy and a black guy and I'm white, I'm probably going to pick the white guy just because he's white. And again, I only had to be thinking about it. That could just be a simple unconscious bias. And then, are you the best? The black person might be the best. The problem is they lost on points number 1 and number 2, so it doesn't matter if they won on number 3. I end up picking the white guy. This could actually be a good argument in favor of DEI and why you would possibly need it, if you understand what I'm saying. You could also flip it around and use another way, depending on the way you want to frame it. Do I know you? Do I like you? And are you the best? This is where, again, if you build the right relationships and have the right connections, you can cross cultural lines, you can cross skin color lines, you can cross racial lines if you have skills. I mean, the people on the Grammy committee, they ain't all black people. And Beyonce got 33 Grammy Awards? They ain't all white. Those ain't all black people voting for Beyonce. Those are white people voting for her too. So what's your excuse, everyday person? I mean, I'm asking the question. Grammys ain't no black-owned event. That's a white-run event. Beyonce got 33 of them. Jay-Z got a bunch of them too. I don't know how many he got. He got a bunch of them. So again, depending on how you want to flip this, and people will say, well, Beyonce and Jay-Z are super famous and they're billionaires and allegedly billionaires and they have all this, et cetera. They have all these things, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so you don't want to be held to their standards because they have this, that, and the third. But at the same time, you want to go celebrate them and live vicariously through them because they have those things. So which one is it? You can't have it both ways. That, okay, you're going to live vicariously through Jay-Z and Beyonce. And a lot of time when Jay-Z, not Jay-Z, when Beyonce put out that country music album, I saw on social media a bunch of black people getting all excited about Beyonce because she put out country music and it allegedly made a bunch of white people they actually listen to country music. It made them, seem annoyed and they were pushing back against Beyonce. She's not a real country music artist. She shouldn't be nominated for a Grammy. How's she going to win a Grammy Award? And when she won that award, it looked like a bunch of black people were happy just because she won that award in a genre that is generally often dominated by white people. So you're living vicariously through Beyonce's win. Like her winning the Grammy Award ain't doing nothing for you. You work at Taco Bell. So they want to take ownership of that for Beyonce winning. But then when I say, okay, well, Beyonce won an award that is dominated by white people, an award that is given by white people, and an event that is run by white people. So what is your excuse complaining about white people at your job? Oh, it's different because Beyonce is this is it. Well, which one is it? Again, you can't play both sides of the fence here. You want to live vicariously through her success and say, well, look, black people could do anything. Okay, what is your excuse then for not doing something? If we're going to play that game. Now, I don't play that game, but if there's a game we're going to play, let's play it. So that's the question that I'm asking. All right, that's as a side note. That's just a side note. It's not even the main point that we're talking about here. So when you are super popular, it helps you win awards. If you're not popular, you ain't going to win awards. That's just what it is. If you are not popular and you happen to win an award, you are lucky. And hopefully you take the winning of that award use that as leverage to go make yourself popular. Because if you don't stay popular, you ain't winning another award. Next, musical innovation. Now, again, this is what I've heard people saying, that Beyonce's style, some of you can let me know, those of you who are big R&B fans. It seems that Beyonce's style has not evolved over time. Now, one pushback you can give to that is that she just did a damn country music album. But aside from that, she has a similar style, and her themes of music, like the stuff that she sings about, is the same stuff she's been singing about for 25 years. Beyonce been talking about the same stuff for 25 years. Is this true or not? In my experience, from the music I've heard of Beyonce, I'm a surface listener, but there's many Beyonce songs I like. It seems like she's still talking about the same stuff now as she was talking about back then. Has that anybody got to push back to that? Has Beyonce evolved in terms of her subject matter? I think Jay-Z's subject matter has evolved more than Beyonce's subject matter over the last 25 years. Jay-Z's kind of quiet now, but Jay-Z was out before Beyonce. Has her subject matter evolved? Her style seems pretty similar too. And many people say that this could just be industry politics. That is the reason why she won. I've already mentioned that 10 times already. And again, I'm not even mad at it, just pointing it out. This is the reason why I don't operate in these spaces. Has someone said none of her albums sound the same? I'm saying her subject matter. The albums don't sound the same, but is the subject matter pretty much the same stuff? She seems to be talking about the same stuff now that she was talking about in 2000 and in the year 2000. Has she evolved? That's my question. Some people say, so what do y'all say? Yes or no? And a lot of people saying a lot. Not many people saying much about this. While I'm waiting for y'all, that what is her subject matter that hasn't evolved? Again, what is she saying is different than what she was saying in the year 2000? That's my question. When she came out in 2000, it was independent woman. I can do what I want to do. No, we don't need a man for anything. Basically, what feminism has become. Destiny's Child was singing about that in the year 2000, and she still talks about that stuff. Has she evolved in any way? I don't hear any. Beyonce got songs about being a wife and a mother and a house mom. Does she have songs about that? I'm independent. I'm a boss bitch, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, what feminism has become. Beyonce was singing about that 25 years ago. And what's changed? I'm openly asking this question. What has changed? Is she singing about anything different now than she was back then? That's what I remember Destiny's Child being. You remember that TLC song, No Scrubs? All right, that was the beginning of the ushering in of feminism. That was it. And they did it that was more of a hip hoppy R&B way. And Beyonce did it in a more R&B-ish way. It was more just straight singing, where TLC they had a little bit of rapping, they were a little bit hip hop, they dressed kind of like men in ways in many of their visuals. Beyonce came out, she was just straight feminine, just straight singing, and she was saying the same stuff. Boss bitch, don't need a man, I'm independent, et cetera, while she ended up getting married to a man who has power and status himself. But she was still singing about those same things. What is she singing about different? That's what I'm asking. And yes, Life Coach 110, the Lemonade album was a divergence from that, because in the Lemonade album, she was basically dissing Jay-Z. It was an R&B diss album. That was it. She was dissing Jay-Z, that whole album. He cheated on me. She made a whole album about it. That I will give her the credit for. But other than that, what's changed? It seems pretty much the same to me. Barbie said, "Your service listener, those are hits. Her albums talk about all subjects. Beyonce did a whole love album with her husband." What love album? You talking about the Carter's album? That album I listened to because Jay-Z was rapping on it. And no, that was much more of a Jay-Z album than it was a Beyonce album. She was on most of the songs, but that was much more of a Jay-Z album. And a love album, I don't know if I would call that a love album. I don't know if I'll call the album a love album. It was a good duet album between the two of them at the time that they were both hot. And it was a way of capitalizing on the fact that she did the Lemonade album, talking shit, dissing him. He did the 444 album, basically apologizing to her. And then they did the album together, which was a way of letting everybody know, hey, we're cool again. So I don't know about all that, it being a love album, Barbie. It was a good way to capitalize on news. That's what I think it was. But if you think it's a love album, that's fine. Okay, moving on. The Beehive. Let's talk about the Beehive. All right, we got any Beehive members in here? If you remember the Beehive, put a bee emoji in the comments. We got any Beehive members listening to this? Someone said that I listen to Renaissance. No. All right. So Beehive. All right. The Beehive is Beyonce's defense team. There's Beyonce's National Guard. All right. She has this whole National Guard called the Beehive. This may be, I guess next to Taylor Swift's Swifties, this may be the strongest fan base in all of entertainment. Anybody got a stronger fan base than the Beehive? If there is a fan base stronger than the Beehive, please tell me the name of that fan base. Put it in the comments. is there any fan base stronger than the Beehive? And I would actually say the Beehive is better and stronger than the Swifties because the Beehive is much more aggressive. The Beehive is more aggressive than the Swifties, and the Beehive has been around longer than the Swifties. The Swifties, I don't know when they came out, but Beyonce's been around longer than Taylor Swift. All right, you go back to when Kanye West took the mic from Taylor Swift. She was relatively young in the game. Beyonce was already pretty established at that time. And that's an ironic twist of fate. What happened there? Taylor Swift, Kanye West, and Beyonce. Imagine where we would be 15 years later. But is there a fan base that is stronger than the Beehive? Someone said Nicki. Nicki who? I know you don't mean Nicki Minaj. That has to be a joke. No. Nicki Minaj's fan base has nothing on fucking Beyonce's fan base. So TD says she tells her fans to leave their husbands for cheating, but she's still with Jay-Z. Yes, and that's what I mean. That's what I meant when I said her themes and the stuff that she sings about are pretty similar. Like this woman empowerment stuff. And again, there's nothing wrong with woman empowerment, but that's all she's been talking about for 25 years. And she, over these 25 years, evolved from this single ladies, all the single ladies, right? Remember that? All the single ladies. She ain't single no more. She married a man with a lot of power and status, got 3 kids. She's a mom now with kids that are growing, and she's still talking this female empowerment shit. Like, yo, you ain't living that life. You ain't living that life the same way. Now, maybe she's still empowered as a female, but usually people who are connecting with this female empowerment thing are usually heads of households, often single women who are raising kids on their own. She ain't doing any of those things. She's none of those things, but she's still singing about it. That's what I'm questioning. Now, some of you who listen to Beyonce more than me, you tell me if I'm missing something. What am I missing? If I'm missing something, tell me what I'm missing. Don't just say I'm missing it. Tell me what I'm missing. That's what I'm asking. So nobody told me that there was a fan base stronger than the Beehive. Somebody said, no, whatever Nicki name is stronger than the Beehive. Nicki got no. If you're talking about Nicki, the rapper, Nicki Minaj, you had to be joking. No, Nicki Minaj's fan base has nothing on Beyonce's fan base. And Beyonce been out longer than Nicki Minaj and still got more fans than Nicki Minaj. So it makes it difficult to have an objective conversation about Beyonce because her fan base pushes, or a difficult conversation publicly because her fan base pushes back very, very strongly against anyone who would dare challenge anything about Beyonce. She is idolized with her fan base, and that influences her reputation. Not a knock on Beyonce, just the reality. When you have a very strong fan base, they do a lot of work for you. Now, last point, that it seems as if, again, this is what it seems, that Beyonce was aiming to make history more than she was aiming to add to the genre of country music. Anybody here who listens to country music, did Beyonce's album add to the genre? Did she add something to the game? Is she contributing to the country music game with the album that she put out? Yes or no? Any country music listeners who are in here, if we have any. Did Beyonce's album contribute to the country music genre and help move the genre forward? That's my question. It appears to me that Beyonce jumped in, made an album because she had an opportunity to make the album, to put a notch on her belt that she did that thing, similar to LeBron getting his son on the Lakers, and has a notch on her belt that she can say this. She can always put that on her resume. And she got the Grammy Award as a way of validating that decision. Because had she not won the Grammy Award, somebody else won, people would have said, yeah, see, Beyonce, you should have never came over here. Now she won the Grammy Award. It almost makes her decision unassailable because somebody could say, well, Beyonce just came into the country music space just to put a notch on her belt, what I just said. And then she could say, well, bitch, look at this Grammy Award. What you going to say to me? It basically makes it unassailable. It's like an airtight argument that she has. So Barbie says she contributed black people. That's the point? No, that's not the point. Question is, did she move the genre of country music forward? And I'm seeing a whole lot of no. I'm seeing a whole lot of people say no. And it did not, in my opinion, she did not do anything for country music. She took away from country music. Lisa said, I didn't even know she had an album, and I listen to country stations all the time. Well, I don't think she was getting played on country stations. I don't think country music stations were playing Beyonce songs. So it appears to me that she was just jumping in, diving in. Let me go grab something out of here because I can get away with it, and then getting out of there. All right, that's what it appears to me. And the Grammy Awards is a very political entity. Again, in case any of you thought that the Grammy Awards is about giving the awards to the best artists. No, it's not. The Grammy Awards is about giving the awards to, it is giving awards to each other. Just like the Golden Globe Awards, the Oscar Awards, What's the other awards you get? The Emmy Awards. What awards was it when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock? What award show was that? Was that what was that? Was that the Oscars? Whatever that was. All of these award shows, the BET Awards, the MTV Awards, the Grammy Awards, all of these award shows, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain to you what these shows actually are. These are gatherings of all the people who are very well known and very connected in these industries to gather up together, meet with each other, and give awards to each other. That's what it is. That's what these award shows actually are. These shows are not about recognizing the best. Because if it's about recognizing the best, then you got to open up the talent pool to a whole lot of other people who might not be well known, might not even be on a major label, and they are not connected at all, but they've made great music. If that's really what it was about, that's what would happen. But you notice that the Grammy Awards and the TV show awards and all these awards, they're all the well-known, super well-known individuals, or the people who are about to become super well-known. You got to be connected to even get in the room. That's what these award shows are. These are circle jerks where these people are giving awards to each other, and they're televised, and they make big deals out of them. The same with the Met Gala, that Met Gala event they have every year. The reason that they have these shows, and the reason that all the media comes and they put it on TV, and nowadays they put it on social media. The reason that they do that is because so many of you, not necessarily you personally, but so many people out there idolize these TV show stars and these movie stars and these entertainers. You idolize them. So putting them on the screen takes more time away from you doing what you should be doing to help yourself, and instead focusing on fucking Beyonce and who's a famous actor or actress right now, George Clooney or whoever is a famous actress. I don't even know. I don't watch TV. But you focusing on them and giving all your energy to them so they become even more popular and they make even more money, and you lost all your energy because you gave it all to them and you have nothing else to do in your life, so you pay more attention to them. This is a whole cycle. They're using you. That's what this really is. If y'all really want to know what these award shows are for, that's what they're really for. They are designed to remind you, these are the superstars. You ain't a superstar. Watch them, talk about them, pay all your attention to them, spend all your money on going to see their movie or buy their album, get on the internet and argue about them, and give all your resources to them. They don't even know that you exist. That's what this is really designed to do. And the irony is not lost on me that I'm doing a live talking about Beyonce right now while I'm saying this to you. The point is, I'm using Beyonce. She's not using me. I'm using Beyonce as a frame for my live stream today. But tomorrow I'll be talking about something else that's not Beyonce. I'll do this live stream every day. She just happens to be the topic today. But these shows are all designed just to keep the idolizers idolizing. That's what this is. That's what it's really for. All right. That's the reason why they get all dressed up and they put on the outfits and all that stuff, because this is all about the image. They want to keep projecting a certain image to the public so that you keep buying into it and you stay a fan and you keep buying their stuff and you buy with your time, attention, and energy, even if you're not buying with your money. And they just keep you connected. They keep you connected to the matrix of following these stars. And then again, not paying that much attention to your situation where you can't afford eggs and you can't pay for groceries and you don't know how you're going to pay for your kid to go to daycare this month. That's really what it's about. That's the real hustle. All right. That's the real hustle. If y'all really want to get deep into it, the real hustle is that. And that's why the Grammy Awards are the Grammy Awards. Now, they're not as popular as they used to be back when we had fewer options of what to watch on TV and people weren't able to hear someone like myself saying these things that I'm saying. It was much easier to keep people mentally numb, and they didn't even understand what was happening. This is why back in the days, those of you whose parents are, well, just say your parents, period. They used to call the TV the idiot box. My dad used to say that sometimes, the idiot box. So people who were born in like the 60s or earlier, they called the TV the idiot box. And the reason they called it the idiot box is because it was a box that you plugged in and you turned on when you just want to become an idiot and stop thinking for an hour or two. So just turn that on and stop thinking, turn your brain off and just sit there and be entertained by TV. Now, the idiot box has been transferred from the TV to the phone. Now the phone becomes the idiot box with an asterisk, depending on how you use it. Thing is, you could use your phone to learn stuff that could actually help you move forward, and you can get a college degree on your phone. You get a college degree on the computer screen. Or you could be looking at some girl on OnlyFans and scrolling Instagram, soft porn on Instagram, or watching people do silly dances on TikTok. You could be doing that too. So now it's a choice. It could be an idiot box. It also could be an intelligent box or screen. This is called an idiot screen or intelligence screen. You have options. That's the difference these days. You have a choice of what you're going to do. But the continuing common denominator And the ultimatum of all of this is that you still have the same amount of limited time and your choices of what you want to do with it. So all that being said, let's get into the comments here. I'll start over on YouTube, then we'll go to Instagram if there was any, then we'll come over to TikTok. And for, I don't know, whatever reason, my scrolling of comments wasn't working the right way on TikTok, but I have an alternative to get to it. So let's get over to, we'll start over on YouTube. There's a lot of comments on YouTube today, more than usual. I guess I should talk about Beyonce more often. We get more comments on YouTube. Steve said, she is overrated. I don't understand why she's worshipped as she is. I felt this way for years. I guess I'm weird and a black man who has his own things put together, thankfully. Well, she's made herself into a star. That's why she gets worshipped. When you make yourself a star, you get worshipped. Beyonce being worshipped by her fans is not that much different than Donald Trump being worshipped by his fans. Now, they're completely different people, and I don't think they're friends with each other, but there is not that much different in that there are Donald Trump fans out there who will go along with anything Donald Trump says or does just because of who he is. And there are people who will go along with anything Beyonce says or does just because of who she is. That's how it is when you are that big of a star. People will follow you regardless of what you do or what you say. So anybody who hates the fact that they'll trash Donald Trump fans and say, you idiots, y'all just listen to anything he says, well, you might be a fan of somebody and you're an idiot for them. It's the exact same way. So O'Dog said Beyonce is a performer, not an artist. Well, performance can be art too. I mean, that's why they call it performance art. O'Dog said Chris Brown came out in 2005. Yeah, you see, Chris Brown beat up Rihanna, so he got something that people can hate him for. So he can't be as Teflon as Beyonce. You beat a girl up, you can't be Teflon. So 1111 said, would you like her better if she was twerking on stage with a thong? Please, these other artists are overrated. Well, 1111 Destiny, you have completely misread me. I'm not a person who gets excited by a woman twerking on stage with a thong. And I didn't say I didn't like Beyonce. I said I actually like Beyonce. I'm a fan of Beyonce. I like her music. The question is if she's overrated or not. You can be overrated. I can call somebody overrated and still be a fan of them. A lot of people aren't able to kind of, reconcile that duality. So Super Steve said, may God help anyone who look up to Cardi B. There are women out there who look up to Cardi B. Cardi B was a stripper and she became a superstar. Anyone, please. I don't know where you live, Steve. All right, take a trip to Atlanta, Houston, Vegas, LA, or Miami, and you will find a whole bunch of Cardi B's walking around, or would-be Cardi B's walking around. Some of them are my neighbors. D. Remy said, it's not about the quality of the art anymore. It's about pushing debauchery. Generally, it is, D. Remy. I don't think Beyonce contributes to that. I think Beyonce she has a certain level of class with the way she puts herself out there. But some of the other women out here, yes, I agree with you. Now, we talking Cardi B level? Yes. Beyonce has a certain level of class that she abides by. I ain't saying she's perfect, but she does seem to have a line that she doesn't cross. Super Steve said, black men, keep getting your shit together. It's our world and our year. All right, great. D. Remy says, music is for everyone to enjoy and create. Correct. That's right. Swifties have entered the chat. Anybody here a Swiftie? I don't know if I got any Swifties in my audience. Let's see. Someone said, I wish nobody listened to Taylor Swift. Well, keep wishing. I think she got a lot of fans. I think she has more fans than Beyonce. Super Steve said, I don't believe she's attracted to Jay-Z physically. Well, Super Steve, that's kind of irrelevant because generally what I know about the interplay between men and women is that women don't choose men based on physicality. I mean, it's not saying that being an attractive man will hurt you, but women don't choose men. When I say choose, I mean like for a long-term type of thing. Women choose men based on their ability to provide and produce. Men choose women based on their beauty and their ability to reproduce. So she don't have to like Jay-Z. Jay-Z said it in his song. He said, ain't no such thing as an ugly billionaire. I'm cute. He knows it. Jay-Z knows that he ain't no model. He knows he ain't no model. He's been talking about that in his raps for a long time. Even Notorious Big said, heartthrob, never, black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Coogee down to the socks, rings and watch filled with rocks. So Notorious B.I.G. understood it too. He's understood. I'm a fat guy. I'm super dark, and that's not popular. And I'm still gonna get girls though, because I got this money and these material goods. That's the game. Unfortunately, a lot of men, I'm not saying you, but a lot of men tend to go through the world thinking that women look at them the same way that we look at women, but they don't. And again, it's not saying that looking good will hurt you, but looking good ain't the bottom line. Blue Ivy as a dancer is Bronny as an NBA player. I haven't really seen her dance, so I don't know. Is she? How old is she? I don't really like commenting on people under the age of 18. And I haven't heard her actually say anything. I believe she's still a minor, so I'm not going to comment on Jay-Z's kid or Beyonce's kid. Tori Kelly, I don't know who she is. I think I've heard the name. I don't know who she is. If she walked by, I wouldn't know it was her. So Kelly Rowland is a better singer. I've heard people say that. Mariah, a lot of people said Mariah Carey. I'm reading YouTube comments and I'm going to come over to TikTok. 1 second for a TikTok. Fantasia learned how to read, then got married and retired from the game. Yeah, I heard that. When Fantasia won American Idol, she didn't know how to read. That was crazy. So she got married and retired? Okay. Well, good for her. She got out the game with her sanity, hopefully. Super C said, oh, dog, you're a witness. I don't think he was joking, though, Super C. I think that is really what happened. Because I remember when Fantasia won American Idol, it was not long after that the news came out that she did not know how to read. That was a real thing. O-Dog says Ciara is a better vocalist than Beyonce. I'm just playing. No, Ciara was not a good singer. Now, I remember Ciara. Ciara was a great dancer. Ciara would be a great backup dancer for Beyonce. But she came out with some music, and her music was not what I say about Ciara is that she was physically attractive, and she was a great dancer. The thing is, her music just wasn't that good. Her songs weren't that good. Beyonce came out with some good songs and some hit records. Super C said the cost of a Beyonce ticket is astronomical. It should be. Same as a Taylor Swift ticket. O-Dog said DMX. DMX was a much better performer than Jay-Z. They're worlds apart. DMX was a great performer on stage. Now, if you want to see a show, DMX was a person to go see. Jay-Z is kind of boring. He's kind of like Jay-Z's kind of like you go to a poetry, like a spoken word. That's Jay-Z. Jay-Z's like spoken word. He just stands there on the mic and does his songs. But his songs are so good and he has so many fans that you'll go to the show just to watch him stand there and do his stuff. He tries to do some performance, but that's not him. Super Steve said, with all due respect, Jay-Z and Beyonce aren't a match if you get my drift. Well, I already explained that they are a match. You're looking at the wrong things. Super C said, DMX beat Jay-Z in a rap battle. It's hard to say who wins a rap battle. I know what you mean, but it's hard to judge who's the winner of a battle. Who judges who won? Matt Villainy said, I saw Destiny's Child in the 90s, even though I'm not a fan of Beyonce. I mean, Destiny's Child made hit records. That's why Beyonce was able to break out and be who she is. They made hit records. That is a big part of the music game. You got to make a hit record. O-Dog said, Beyonce set a spell on you. Yeah, pretty much. I can see she's a great performer. Beyonce is an amazing performer. She's one of the best. As performance-wise, she's a 10. Vocally, she's not a 10, but performance-wise, she's a 10. Taylor Swift, performance-wise, is not a 10. And vocally, she's not a 10. So what is it about Taylor Swift that makes her so popular? Can somebody explain that to me? I've seen her perform. I've seen her try to dance. And I've heard her sing. And all of you said that she's not a 10 singing. And I know she can't dance. And her performance is nowhere near Beyonce. So what is it about Taylor Swift? Can somebody help me out? Is it just white privilege? Is Taylor Swift popular because of white privilege? Can somebody help me out? What is it about Taylor Swift that made her so popular? I'm seriously asking. I'm not asking for a joke, like really what it is. O-Dog said, Whitney started doing crack to her popularity. Yeah, that'll help. That'll help hurt her popularity to do crack. Yes, crack is whack. Jay-Z, O-Dog said, Jay-Z is overrated. He's the LeBron James of rap, deep discography, but only prolific for like 3 albums. Now, that could be a whole conversation, O-Dog. I like Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z, amongst people who are alive, I think he's the best rapper as far as careers go. Beyonce pushes feminism. Yes, she does. Beyonce introduced feminism. This wave of feminism that we have here today, Beyonce was a big part of it because a lot of what becomes the general conversation starts on the screen. TV, arts, music, entertainment. It starts with the entertainers and the athletes and also the politicians. Beyonce was a big part of the feminism we have now. Also, a group called TLC, when they did that song No Scrubs, that was a big push for feminism. It was women basically talking shit about men, about what he ain't got. And what do you say? A scrub is a guy who thinks he's fly, right? Always talking about what he wants is just sits on his broke ass. Isn't that what the song said? And there was a group called the Sporty Thieves who put out a song called No Pigeons. A lot of y'all don't know about that one. It was a response song to No Scrubs. It's called No Pigeons. Look it up on YouTube. It's probably out there. Matt Villainy said, to me, him cheating on Beyonce is like a plus. Knock her down a few notches. Well, that's pretty much what happened. Pretty much what happened. I don't know if he had to knock her down a few notches. I mean, she was already his wife. And what really happened, the whole Jay-Z situation, is he got caught. And that's really what the problem was. The problem wasn't that he cheated on her and I don't think he was aiming to knock her down a few notches. I don't think Jay-Z needs to do that, in my opinion. I think the issue was that he got caught. Because I guarantee you, I'm not going to guarantee. Let me not guarantee it, but let me just say this. There may have been other things that she don't know about. Let's put it that way. Matt Villainy says, no, I already answered that one. Barbie said, you're a surface listener, which I admitted I'm a surface listener. Those are hits. Her albums talk about all subjects. Beyonce did a whole album. Well, just because it's a hit, Barbie, you're sounding like a female, and I hope that you are. A name like Barbie is you're saying those songs are hits. I'm not asking if she made hits. We know Beyonce has hits. That's why she's been famous for 25 years. I'm asking, has her subject matter evolved? Because you can make a hit record talking about nothing. Look at Cardi B. Name something of substance Cardi B has ever said, but she's very famous. So just because you have a hit does not mean that your subject matter has evolved. Those are two different questions. Barbie says she contributed Black people. That's the point. No, not the point. She moved the genre with the telling of Black American stories. Country is historically a Black American genre, but I digress. Well, see, a lot of Black people said that. So Barbie, I'm assuming you're Black because a lot of Black people were saying this, that country music is historically a Black American genre. I see more white people doing country music than Black people doing country music. And Beyonce is not a country artist. So if I'm in the country space and I criticize Beyonce by saying, hey, she just came in here as a visitor and now she's winning a Grammy Award, is she just that talented as an artist? I don't think so. I think she's that talented as a performer. Is she that talented as an artist? I don't think Beyonce is that talented. I think a lot of it is the narrative around her, the fact that she's a superstar, and the fact that she has this big fan base. And she's very strongly connected in the industry. She's strongly connected in the musical industry, maybe just as much as any very popular country music artist. So does that play a role? Yes, it does. Beyonce's won 33 Grammys. You think the people on the Grammy committee like Beyonce? Because if they hated her, she wouldn't have no awards. She wouldn't have 33. Imagine Donald Trump trying to win the equivalent of a Grammy Award in politics and the Camilla spaces, and she does what she needs to do. Beyonce went to a Kamala Harris campaign event in Texas where Kamala had no chance of winning the state. And they paid Beyonce $10 million to come there, and she spoke for 4 minutes, did not perform a song, and she went and co-signed abortion while she herself has 3 kids. Why did Beyonce do that? Anybody answer that question? Why did Beyonce do that? Why did she do that? Well, part of it is the $10 million. I mean, that makes sense. Another part of it is that's Beyonce paying her dues to people who have a whole lot of power and a whole lot of pull in a lot of different spaces. Politics, music, entertainment, all of this stuff is connected. Sports, all of this stuff is connected. Why is it that when Kyrie Irving put out a documentary with a link to a documentary talking about the J people, all he did was put a link out. He got suspended from the NBA. What the hell does the NBA have to do with anything that has to do with the J people? Well, how are they connected? Because they are connected. That's the point. That's why he got suspended and why he had to go apologize. And he got tarred and feathered and carried around the town square to apologize. But anyway, let's continue. I'm over on TikTok. Let's see what we got in the comments here. Ryan says she did well in country. Not a fan. Kirkland says she is overrated. I do believe Beyonce is overrated. Doesn't mean she's not good. She's just overrated. Queen Knick-Knack got the #1 badge. Congratulations. Then Crystal Robinson got the #1 badge. Congratulations. Ryan says she is better than most country singers. Kimberly says studios make their voices sound good. Yes, see, that's the reason why people, when they go to live performances, they want to hear you just sing straight up. Can you actually sing without the studio? The studio can make anybody sound good. Now, studio could probably make me sound good as a singer if we had enough equipment. Put me on an auto tune like T-Pain. Lawrence said, today is entertainment, not a Beyonce fan. All right, that's fine. Fantasia said, no, Fantasia. It was the answer. Sabrina Carpenter, don't know who that is. Taylor Swift is a much better singer than Beyonce. I haven't heard anybody else say that. I think she's adequate. I don't think she's that much better. Michelle said, I'll take Beyonce over Swiftie any day. Fine. Is anybody who's a fan of both Beyonce and Taylor Swift? Taylor is a whole vibe. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? She's a whole vibe. Ryan said, Taylor and Beyonce are the same. You don't hear anyone because both of their hype. Yeah, they both are very popular. That's kind of the point. That's the point. Charlotte said Whitney's range was incredible. Yes, Whitney was a very good singer. Maureen says she's a great songwriter. Who are you referring to? Beyonce or Taylor Swift? I don't think Beyonce writes her songs. It's all about popularity, who can bring in the most money. Yes, that's the entertainment industry. Ryan said Jay-Z's overrated. No, I don't think Jay-Z is overrated. Some people do. And when you get to that position and you're very popular, you're going to get people saying these things. So what I'm saying about Beyonce, I'm not the only one who says that. The Youth for Swift Bay performance. Okay. Most country singers are not good singers. Okay. As a country music band, I can say that's not true. Look at Garth Brooks. He puts on the show. I've heard of Garth Brooks, but I've never seen his show. I saw George Strait last summer, never seen such a production. Strong disagree. Okay, so some of you are saying that country music artists do have strong production. Okay, fair enough. That's not true. They have so many country artists that dance and perform. Okay, there's country and then there's pop country. Very different. Okay, so there's a difference. There's pop country and then there's regular country. Now, see, I didn't know that. Does Beyonce write her own music? No. Most of Beyonce's music is not written by her. Other people have written her music. There are artists out there who have been out there talking about they wrote certain songs for Beyonce. I'm having a hard time believing. Tommy says, hard time believing Beyonce beat out Chris Stapleton in anything country. Well, a lot of people are having a hard time believing that she won the award. I'm explaining here today why she won the award. Because she is extremely popular, and those awards are popularity contests. That's why she won. Beyonce has many songs where she just stands and sings. Of course she does. What I'm saying is the value of putting on a show, period. You have a concert, not so you can just stand there and sing. Most artists perform when they do tours. There's a performance. There's all types of movement and things to look at and lights and dancing. You don't just stand there and sing. She may do that on some songs, but she's not going to do that the whole show because otherwise, well, should I go just watch the shit on YouTube? I come to the concert because I want to see a performance. Dave just said a lot of auto-tune because you acapella. Who are you talking about? Beyonce uses auto-tune? I don't think so. Sean Brown said you should talk about something you know about. Well, we're talking about music and we're talking about art, rather. Art is all opinion, is 100% subjective. So it's not about anybody knowing anything. Travell says Beyonce can definitely flat foot sing without all the production. I mean, she can. But is she better at that or the production? I think she's better at the production. Blessed Lady says, I don't like her because she's not a country music singer. There's a lot of pure blood country music fans do not like that Beyonce jumped in the game and really don't like that she went and won the award. And I understand that. But Grammy is a limited population. Yeah, exactly. That's why I told you. That's what Grammy is. It's all about politics within the labels. The executives decide. Exactly. That's how you win Grammy Awards. You got to be connected to the right person. You can't go make an album on SoundCloud that is amazing and win a Grammy Award. You're not going to win. Drummer of the Year said the album wasn't good regardless of who sang on it. That's what many said. Remember when Beyonce tried to put herself in Spanish music because of Justin Bieber? I don't remember that. How did it go? How did it go? Beth said, stop trying to talk down on who? On Beyonce? I'm not trying to talk down on her. I'm saying that I think she's overrated. Is that talking down on her? Mm-hmm. Maybe. I'm not trying to. Either I am or I'm not. Therese T. Rose said, Cowboy Carter is a great album. Well, it's art. So some people think that it's great. Some people think it sucked. Drummer of the Year said, if you're satanic, you win awards. Well, some people say that about the whole industry, and I get it. Life Coach said it's called the Illuminati period. T. Rose said none of her albums sound the same. I'm asking about the themes, not the sound, the theme, like the actual words that she's saying. Drummer of the Year says, why I quit drumming in Hollywood. And I'm sure you got some stories. Carolina said Jay-Z became who he is because dealing. I don't know about that. I think he talks about it a lot in his songs. That is true. I don't think the dealing is why he became who he is. He did have to actually get on the mic and do something. His drug dealing didn't make him a good rapper. Now, that contributed to the content, absolutely. But is that why he became a good rapper? I would say no. Her Renaissance album does not talk about anything that you are saying. Okay, fine. Lemonade, yes, I get. Carolina said, "What changed? Things about being a boss, and then she lets him walk all over her cheating." Well, that's one way to generalize what happened. I don't know if I would call it that. We don't know the details, and neither one of them talk too much about their personal business. It was actually a good thing. They just put it out through music. I heard her country music is horrible. How she get the number one album in country music? Because she has fans. You don't get the number one album by making good music. You get the number one album by having fans. If you got fans that'll buy your shit, you can put out some garbage, though. We'll buy it. You're number one. That's how it works. TT says Beyonce has not evolved. Nothing has changed. Her message is still the same. So I'm hearing people on both ends of the spectrum in this conversation. They're saying that it has evolved, and some people say it doesn't. What changed that we know she knows what Jay-Z did with Diddy? Well, Jay-Z separated himself from Diddy. No, I did not listen to that Renaissance Beyonce album. She tells her fans to leave their husbands for cheating. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good knock you could say against her, but at the same time, you could say it's just entertainment. So she's just rapping. I mean, singing. Grammy has never had that much clout. That much clout with what? What do you mean? DJ says CMA is listener voted. Okay, well, see, I didn't mention CMA. I'm talking about the Grammys. These are Hollywood awards. Brooke said she didn't win anything at CMAs. How was she even in the running for album of the year? So the CMAs already happened, and she didn't win. What happened at the CMAs for Beyonce? So I don't know about this. I don't follow country music. So let me ask ChatGPT, and I'll see what y'all say. What happened at the Country Music Awards with regards to Beyonce? ChatGPT was kind of slow this morning when I was trying to use it, so it's figuring it out. So I believe she's regretting her decision to make that album. White people are not happy. I don't know. Is that causing her regret because white people aren't happy? If the music wasn't played on country radio station, how could she win a Grammy in that genre? That's a good question. I don't have an answer to that question. That's a good question, though. I don't know who can answer that. I don't care. I care less about any awards. It's just like her country song, Donna says. Okay, well, the thing is, when you win awards, it increases your popularity. It gets more people to know that you exist because you won the award. She didn't get the positive feedback she was looking for. So sad. Well, she did win an award. I mean, what else are you going to say? TT said, go to the inner city and speak to the kids. You're the real deal. I've done that before and still do. Thank you, TT. Jay-Z seemed off at the scammies. What was he doing? All I saw was him standing up and clapping for Beyonce. I didn't see him do anything else. Current Mike says, what are y'all talking about? Some people in here trolling. Beyonce needed Jay-Z to stay on top of the charts. She needed him more. Interesting. I don't know how. Beyonce was more classic with Destiny's Child. With Jay-Z, she's more ghetto. Okay, maybe. I'll have to think about that one. All right, so any of y'all trolling my comments, we're going to have to get rid of you. Don't troll my comments. All right, let's see. Jay-Z, I lost my spot. Jay-Z was in the GOAT discussion, but I do feel he's been doing nefarious shit. Like what? He admitted to it. He admitted they used to be in the streets. So what kind of shit are you talking about? Whiskey and Wait said the J people hold the puppet strings. Many people have said that, and it seems like they do. Doesn't necessarily make them bad, though. At the same time, doesn't make them bad. Who was I listening to? I was just listening to, who was it? It was a business guy. I was listening to his video on YouTube, and he was saying a lot of people talk about the J people and how they control a lot of the financial markets. And he said, well, the reason they control the financial markets is they've been practicing certain financial disciplines for hundreds of years. And that's the reason why they control the financial markets. And that makes perfect sense. So it doesn't make them bad people. Even if what you said is true, it doesn't make them bad. If everybody else played the game that way, then they'd be at the same level. I like how he said the Jays run the banks, and then just Chase said, we're canceling your account. Who are you talking about? I think that was Kanye West. She couldn't be further from the best country artist. Obvious DEI hookup. Well, not even DEI. It's just networking. It's connections. That's how business works. The Grammys are a business. Beyonce should have stayed away from country music. Well, I think it bolstered her reputation because now she could just put that on her resume that she won. She won the Grammy. Again, now if she had not won the Grammy, then people could just trash it. But the fact she won the Grammy kind of shuts up anybody who want to question the fact that she did that album. Because she could say, well, I won the Grammy. What you gonna say to me? I won the Grammy. And that's is a legitimate retort. So First C is a very good artist. Who you talking about? I think you mistyped whoever you're talking about. Okay, so over on YouTube, O-Dog said Lil Wayne is better than Jay-Z. O-Dog, no. No, sir. O-Dog is not better than Jay-Z. O-Dog said No Pigeons came out when I was in 5th grade. LOL. Yeah, whenever it came out right after No Scrubs. So whenever No Scrubs came out, No Pigeons came out right after that. A lot of people don't know about that song. It's called No Pigeons. Y'all can find it on YouTube. It's like No Scrubs, but the man version. And it is a real song. It was called No Pigeons. So the way that TLC dissed men on No Scrubs, this group, they were called the Sporty Thieves. They dissed women on No Pigeons. So I do these live streams Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Usually I'm talking about some type of current event. And since this Beyonce thing just popped off just yesterday, that's why I decided to talk about it. Do y'all want to hear me talk about Kanye West and his wife basically showing up naked to the Grammy Awards? Y'all want to hear me talk about that? Yes or no? Put a yes or no in the chat if you want to hear me talk about Kanye West and his wife. I believe her name is Bianca. They showed up to the Grammys at the red carpet, and she had a coat on. She had on this big black fur coat, like a full-length fur coat. And she turned around with her back to the red carpet, like right where they take the pictures. And she turned around with the coat on, and Kanye said something to her first, so we couldn't hear what he had on, like this sheer. It was like a mini dress here, and she didn't have a bra on, so you could see her areolas, and then you could see her whatever was down there. I don't know if she had hair down there or not. I think she had a little bit of hair down there. I'm not sure she had panties on. But she had on this sheer thing. You could basically see through the whole thing. It's not something you would wear at home for your husband. She was wearing it in the public for her husband. And she just stood there and they took pictures and then they left and that was it. Y'all want to hear me talk about this, Kanye? Yeah, I'm going to talk about this. All right, so a bunch of you are saying yes. So I'm going to talk about this Kanye West and his wife, Bianca. And the conversation is not really about, it is going to be about Kanye West and it is going to be about his wife, but it's not really about that. It's really going to be about feminism because I noticed a very interesting duality with feminism. And that on the one hand, a woman, you got a Beyonce out there or a Taylor Swift or a Kamala Harris or a Cardi B, a woman who is succeeding and winning and doing their thing. And they seem to be ascending to power. And people are all like girl boss and girl power and who run the world, girls, is women dominating everything, right? That's the one side of feminism. But then when you get Kanye West coming on the red carpet, and he didn't say anything, and she didn't say anything, and she pulls the coat down, and she has no clothes on, and she's just showing off her everything. I saw a lot of comments on social media of people saying, well, hey, Kanye is domineering, and he's mentally abusing her, and he's controlling her, and I can see in her eyes that she's afraid of him. And I'm like, where the fuck are you getting this? All she did was stand there and take her coat off. She didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. How are you drawing this conclusion? And this is the duality of feminism. That's really what we're going to talk about when we get into this subject. We'll probably do that one tomorrow unless something political bumps it off the headlines. And we'll get to political stuff as well. But tomorrow, since y'all say y'all want to hear me talk about this, I am going to talk about this tomorrow. We're going to talk about this duality of feminism, where on the one hand, when a woman is doing things that people like, they're like, hey, women can do anything. We don't need a man. But then when a woman does something that you don't like, instead of holding the woman accountable, all of a sudden it has to be a man's fault. So all of a sudden, Kanye's wife walking around with no clothes on is Kanye's fault, but it's not her fault. So Kamala Harris damn near being president of America is Kamala's response. It's her fault that she damn near became president, but has something bad happened to her, it'd be her husband's fault. I'm just trying to figure this one out. So if she had won, it'd be women dominate, but since she lost, it's misogyny. We got to figure it out. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. And that's the duality of feminism that needs to be challenged. And we're going to use Kanye West and his wife. He's married to this woman, right? We're going to talk about that tomorrow, because from what I've seen, Kanye West is that woman that he's with since he got away from Kardashian. She looks like that every time I see her. Every time I see her, she's dressed in something that she's showing off everything she got. I've never seen her dressed normally, or what we would consider normal or casual or modestly. I've never seen her dressed modestly. She's always got everything out. She's got her breast out. She got her ass out every time you see her. So, all right, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I can get through a whole conversation on it. here today. Someone said what she did was disrespectful to woman everywhere. Okay, well, as long as you're putting it on her and not on Kanye West, that I'm okay with. But tomorrow, we're gonna come up with a whole conversation around this, and it's really going to be about feminism. It's not really about Kanye West or that woman, but they are a good frame upon which to draw that conversation. So as I told y'all, if you are on TikTok, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're not following me on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@DreB. The link is in my profile here on TikTok. The link to my YouTube channel is on my profile. So click on it and subscribe to my YouTube just in case I get suspended or kicked off TikTok again, which I will. At some point, I'm going to get suspended on TikTok again. And at some point, they might say you're kicked off forever. So if and when that happens, y'all know where to catch these live streams, which will always be on YouTube, always on Rumble, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm on all those platforms right now in addition to TikTok. But make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the replays, if you ever miss one of my live streams, the replays are always on YouTube. So the replay to what I'm doing today will be on YouTube today. As soon as I'm done, it's going to be on YouTube. So if you missed some of this, or you want to hear the whole thing, or you want to see the one I did yesterday or the day before that, or the day before that, I've been doing these lives like this I started doing it around September of last year. So if you want to hear me talk about politics, you want to hear me talk about Trump, Kamala, racism, DEI, black people, feminism, what else? Business, money, opportunities, success, mindset, anything that has to do with personal growth, personal development, or anything that's happening in current events. I've talked about all of it and more than once from different angles. All of the replays you can find on my YouTube channel. So any of you didn't know, now you know. If you are new around here, it's your first time hearing me, now you know. And if you heard me before and you didn't like I was talking about Beyonce today, then you might like what I talk about tomorrow. And if you hate everything that I talk about, come back tomorrow and you can hate it even more, because I'm going to do it again tomorrow, talking about a different subject. So again, make sure you're on my YouTube channel. Again, that's youtube.com/@DreB, or just look my name up. My name is Dre, D-R-E. My last name is Baldwin, Baldwin. I'm easy to find anywhere on the internet. So if you like Instagram, I'm on Instagram. You like LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn. You like X, I'm on X. If you like Facebook, I'm on Facebook. If you like Rumble, I'm on Rumble. And if you like YouTube, I'm on YouTube. And if you like TikTok, I'm on TikTok. So I'm everywhere on the internet, and I'm outside in real life as well. Any of you living in Las Vegas, I'm being in Vegas next week. All next week, I'm being in Vegas at the ClickFunnels conference. Any of you who's going to be there, or any of you who's in Vegas. So that's that. I think I made all my announcements. Usually these lives go about 2 hours. So I start at 8 o'clock and I'm usually done by 10. So we are almost at 10 o'clock Eastern. So I appreciate all of you for being here on this live and your engagement. Whether you like the topic or didn't like the topic, tomorrow's going to be a different topic. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be about Kanye and his naked wife and who's responsible for that. All right, that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Everybody have a great Tuesday. See y'all tomorrow. Work on your game. We out.